worship here on MLK weekend. Want to send a special welcome to our friends in Little Rock, Arkansas from the UU Church of Little Rock who are joining us this morning. I just learned that biscuits with chocolate gravy is a dish in Little Rock, and it sounds fantastic. I want to have that. We also want to welcome our friend V. Renee, who's been made music with us here several times. Will be providing our special music this morning. But our first hymn is one of my very favorite spirituals. It's called Hush. It's a jazzy version. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? I'm so glad that trouble don't last always. I'm so glad that trouble don't last always. I'm so glad that trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? We're so glad you're here with us this morning. We hope you will join us in lighting our chalice together, sing along with the hymns, be fully involved in our worship this morning here at UUCA.
Thank you, Don. I am Reverend Taryn Strauss, Senior Minister here, and I'm here to welcome you to worship this morning at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. Welcome to another Sunday in America. Welcome to this congregation working towards becoming a beloved community that saves lives wherever you are from, whomever you love. Whatever path you are on, you are welcome to worship with us as we make meaning out of everything going on in the world, in our lives right now. I also want to honor the beautiful flowers this morning that were given to us by Rob and Eva Mitchell in honor of the memory of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. This is a special Sunday for us, Martin Luther King Jr., but we are talking about conflict resilience in our relationships in the world. That's the worship series we are in at this time and looking at possibilities for a Unitarian Universalist theology of redemption. So welcome in to this worship this morning. We have a few announcements for you. Our adult religious education series, So You Want to Talk About Race, continues this Sunday, January 19th at 7:30 p.m. It continues this Tuesday in a couple of days, January 19th at 7:30 p.m. with the workshop Exploring Privilege and Power, Using Our Power to Create Change and Combat Racism. Wherever you are on your anti-racist journey, these classes will help you explore and apply these concepts in fresh and powerful ways. As with all sessions in the series, the recording will be shown the following Sunday at 5 p.m. If you missed the first part of this workshop this past Tuesday, you can tune in tonight for the facilitated recording at 5 o'clock p.m. To register for tonight's or Tuesday's session in the series, please follow the link going into the live chat now.
We invite you to envision our future together. Building on our resilience, what transformations will we develop and nurture within ourselves, our congregation, and the world? Join us in the Mystery of the Hour this month for Part 1, Experiencing the Holy. For more information, go to uuca.org/vision.
Hi, Sean. Happy New Year. You okay?
Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep my head on straight. I think this year has given me emotional whiplash already.
It sure is. Still, I love the feeling a new year brings, the feeling that a fresh and exciting future really is possible.
I like to reflect and consider what's really important to me.
Do you make a resolution?
It's more like setting a course, casting a hopeful vision for my future.
That's what we're going to do at UUCA.
Make a resolution?
We're going to reflect together, affirm our values, and renew our mission and ends.
Don't we already have those?
We do, and you can find them on our website, but they were written many years ago, and they should be renewed at least every 5 years.
Makes sense. We have so many new members that didn't have a chance to participate.
That's true, and so much has changed since then.
So is this like a strategic plan?
This is the foundation for our strategic plan. Our values, mission, and ends will guide us as we make those plans.
Sounds like a lot of work. I don't want to be on that committee.
It's not the work of a committee. We need everybody to participate. Just like our capital campaign, we need to do this together.
But isn't that what we elected the board for?
The board is going to participate, at first in the role of deep listeners. They will collect all the hopes, dreams, and wishes of the congregation.
But how do we begin? Doesn't it sound kind of boring?
Not at all. We'll start today, right after the service, by sharing how we experience the holy.
Wow, that does sound inspiring, but I'm not sure I completely understand.
That's okay. Let's embrace the mystery on this journey together.
I'm excited. Let's envision our future together.
Thank you so much to Jennifer Thilo, our congregational president, and Doubting Sean Golan for that, Doubting Sean, for that little role play to remind us, to tell us that today our normal Zoom room social hour is being replaced by the first session in this 4-month series about visioning our future together. This session will be uplifting, spiritually deepening, and joy-filled series of workshops. You'll connect with each other. We'll discover what brings us together in community. Each month between now and our May congregational meeting, we'll focus on a different topic. And this month, you will be invited to explore your experience of the holy, to share your experience, listen to others, and discern what values are embedded in those experiences that are core to our congregation. The workshop will begin directly after the worship service today. If you cannot make it today, the Experiencing the Holy workshop will be offered again this Thursday evening and again next Sunday after the service. So please check out the link into this visioning session directly after the service that is being dropped into the live chat now, or you can go to uuca.org/vision or check out your weekly update email. Additionally, the Project Phoenix Steering Committee is offering a town hall this coming Thursday to share all the latest news relating to our future home and campus. Join Project Phoenix at 7 p.m. this Thursday. The link to register for the Project Phoenix Town Hall is being dropped into the live chat right now. You can find it in the weekly update email newsletter as well. Tomorrow, Monday, we will honor Dr. King's legacy by assisting food justice in Atlanta. Central Shelter has asked us to provide individually packaged snack items to help them supplement the meals they provide to the community. We know the pandemic is ramping up, so we will follow strict COVID-19 safety protocols during our snack drive drop-off time between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. The drop-off will take place at our new campus, 2650 North Druid Hills Road. Please follow the link in your weekly update email or the link in the live chat to sign up for a drop-off time frame. Thank you so much for joining our MLK Service Day. Through our live chat, we can express love and care for each other. Now, as we know we have so many different opinions, which is a strength of our faith and of our congregation. The YouTube chat, however, is not the place to voice and discuss those opinions as they take away from the flow of the service for someone else. If you wish, please, you are invited to use our live chat feature for 3 purposes: to welcome and support and care for one another, to affirm the hard work and effort of worship leaders and our amazing audiovisual team. Today we have Jeep Hook, George Macon, and Michael Dangerfield, woohoo! And that's right. And as always, to spread good vibes out there. And now I want to invite you into that gentle care on our live stream chat. Please take a moment to welcome one another, to welcome those who may be visiting. And we are especially happy to welcome the Unitarian Universalist Church of Little Rock, Arkansas, joining us for worship this morning. So please take a moment to welcome our friends from Little Rock and each other into this morning's worship. Once again, we are so glad you all have chosen to worship with us this morning. I want to invite you into a clip from Ebenezer Baptist Church just down the road from us here in Atlanta, but a clip that was taken some years ago.
Well, I think the dilemma is much deeper, and I think one during this period of transition has to be very honest with America. And honesty impels me to admit that America has broad racist elements still alive. Racism is still existing in American society in many areas of the society, North and South. And the other thing is that there has never been a single, solid, determined commitment of large segments of white America on the whole question of racial equality. I think we have to see that vacillation has always existed, ambivalence has always existed, and this to me is the so-called white backlash. It's merely a new name for an old phenomenon. I see the white backlash as a continuation of the same ambivalence and vacillation of white America on the whole question of racial justice that has existed since the founding of our nation. I think the other thing that we must see at this time is that many of the people who supported us in Selma, in Birmingham, were really outraged about the extremist behavior toward Negroes. But they were not at that moment, and they are not now, committed to genuine equality for Negroes. It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee an annual income, for instance, to get rid of poverty for Negroes and all poor people. It's much easier to integrate a bus than it is to make genuine integration a reality and quality education a reality in our schools. It's much easier to integrate even a public park than it is to get rid of slums. And I think we are in a new era, a new phase of the struggle, where we have moved from a struggle for decency, which characterized our struggle for 10 or 12 years, to a struggle for genuine equality. And this is where we are getting the resistance, because there was never any intention to go this far. People were reacting to Bull Connor and to Jim Clark rather than acting in good faith for the realization of genuine equality.
Now, won't you please join me in lighting our chalice this morning? And say the chalice lighting words with me. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, ignite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
Hello, it is great to see you all again. I am B. Renee, and I am really excited about sharing some music with you all. The first song that I am going to sing is I Am Light by India Ari.
I am light.
Thank you to be Renee. And won't you please now stand and rise in body or in spirit, wherever you are at home, and join the Joyner Clark family in the movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the Spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of Spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Amen.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind.
Let us put hands upon hearts and feel the warm connection there. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. Now we hear the joys and sorrows of our worshiping community. We send our love to Mary Andress Overly, Mary's dear younger sister, Carolyn Overly Hoffpower died on January 10th at the age of 75 in her home near Hazelhurst, Georgia, from advanced COPD and congestive heart failure. In addition, Mary's 85-year-old brother-in-law, Owen Hoffpower, who's been in hospice care for the last year, is now near the end of his life. We hold Mary and her family in our hearts. Calls and emails and cards of support are welcome at this time. We hold in our hearts people who are struggling with loneliness, grief, loss, or illness across the world. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find more ways to be more loving to one another. You are invited to write into the live chat or speak into the space you are in, those you are holding in your heart this morning, someone who could use some extra loving energy from this community. Please write their names into the live chat or speak their names into this holy moment now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather in our way on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. Now, we still our bodies, and we still our minds. We take in a big breath, and we exhale. We relax into this moment that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Listening with My Heart, A Story of Kindness and Self-Compassion by Gabby Garcia, illustrated by Ying Hui Tan. Read and adapted by Laura Beth Brown. Esperanza's tummy fluttered as she practiced her lines on the porch. Today was the class play. Waiting for her mama to walk with her to school, she spotted a heart-shaped rock. Esperanza picked it up and showed it to her mama as soon as she walked out. "I see you found a little treasure," said Mama. Esperanza thought about the class play later and wondered what it would be like in the spotlight. "Maybe it's a sign," said Esperanza, "to put my heart into everything I do." At that moment, they heard scratching and a soft cry. Esperanza peeked under the stairs and spotted a kitty shaking and shivering. "She's all alone. I think she's hungry." Esperanza reached for her lunch bag, pinched off a piece of chicken, and offered it to the kitty, who gobbled it up. "Mama, I think the rock is a reminder to spread kindness and love. That's what we do when we listen with our hearts." "I think you're onto something," said Mama. "Can we keep Cleopatra?" asked Esperanza, who'd already named the kitty. "Queens are always welcome at our house," said Mama. "If she's still here after school, we'll take her in." At school, during recess, Esperanza noticed Bao sitting alone on a bench. He was new in school this week and didn't speak English. She wondered if he felt lonely or scared. Esperanza found a soccer ball and kicked it over to him. A smile spread across Bao's face. He stood, popped the ball in the air, then bounced it in between his knee and his head a few times. "Dude's got moves," thought Esperanza. They spent the rest of recess giggling and making up hand signals. Afterwards, Esperanza borrowed Miss Owen's English-Vietnamese dictionary. She wrote "friend" in Vietnamese and drew a picture of Bao and her, then placed it on his desk. Esperanza rubbed the rock in her pocket. Listening with her heart made her feel peaceful inside. Finally, it was time for the performance. Excitement bubbled as Esperanza awaited her cue. Esperanza walked on stage, tripped as she was about to say her first line, and splattered across the floor. When she got up, Esperanza forgot her lines, so Miss Owen whispered them to her from backstage. Heat rushed through Esperanza's body as all eyes were glued to her. She wished she could disappear. "I ruined the play," Esperanza thought, rushing off stage. "I messed up in front of everyone." Esperanza noticed her body shaking and her face still burning. She took a deep breath and tears streamed down her face. Esperanza dug out the rock in her pocket. It was cracked and lopsided, just like how she felt. A few minutes later, Val walked over and handed Esperanza a drawing of her with the word "friend" written above it. Esperanza nodded. She realized she hadn't been treating herself like a friend. In fact, this wasn't the first time she'd been unkind to herself. At a soccer game last weekend, she'd missed the ball and they'd lost the game. "Nice work," a player from that team yelled as the others laughed. Esperanza thought she had let her team down and was the worst soccer player in the world. Thinking those thoughts made her feel worse. At the curtain call, Esperanza reminded herself she hadn't ruined the play. She'd had an accident, and accidents happen to everyone. Listening with her heart wasn't just about spreading kindness and love to others. It was about giving it to herself, too. I can be a friend to myself, thought Esperanza. When Esperanza got home, she decided to do some of her favorite things. She zipped down the hill on her bike and then spent the afternoon painting at the kitchen table. She also got the hug she needed from Mama, and some cuddles from Cleopatra. Some days stink. Not everything will go the way you want. You'll get upset. When this happens, you can pause, take a few deep breaths, and practice listening with your heart. You can name what you're feeling. Whatever you feel is okay. And listen to your body. Notice the sensations you are having. And pay attention to your self-talk. Are the words supportive and understanding, or mean and rude? Are you being a friend to yourself? When we treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we give to someone we care for, we are practicing self-compassion. Listening with your heart.
Thank you, Laura Beth Brown, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, to remind us of self-compassion in these times. You know, growing up Unitarian Universalist, I always understood MLK Sunday as a high holy day for our faith, and I still feel this way. This is a Sunday when we honor and describe the beloved community, honor it as central to our understanding of our life's purpose, to build a more inclusive community focused on caretaking and lifting up those who are most oppressed in our society. This is a time to listen to our hearts, to return to core values, to answer the question each year again as it comes round: what does the beloved community look like and feel like? What does it sound like? Indeed, what are the qualities of heaven on earth? All my life, I have spent Martin Luther King Monday marching with my beloved UUs on the streets of Chicago, and then later in Knoxville, Tennessee, then in Asheville, North Carolina, and in Manhattan. I have spent the day doing service work in the community along with my fellow UUs as we take time from our lives to serve others in the spirit of revolutionary love. And this year, as we heard earlier, we are partnering with our friends at Central Shelter to provide individually packaged snack items to help them supplement the meals they are able to offer to folks in the community who need it. And I would like to propose that each MLK Monday, we establish a tradition at UUCA of doing a service project together, all of us. My hope is this will be congregation-wide, involving children and families, and that we can work with our community partners to be humble servants, to share generously, and to listen with our hearts to what is needed in the spirit of solidarity. For a congregation that inspires us to serve our Atlanta community, we offer our gratitude. For a staff and a structure and volunteer leaders who provide us with this opportunity to live principled lives of service, we offer our gifts of time, our treasure, and our talent. None of our holy work is possible without your generous contributions to UUCA, which you can make by going to uuca.org/give. This morning's offering will now be given and most gratefully received. And thank you, B. Renee. I miss having her in this space with us, just as I miss all of you. B. Renee, you bless us with your gifts. And you out there, you bless this community with your contribution to the dream of beloved community. You bless us with your presence, joining us for worship, with your contribution to our fund, to our snack drive tomorrow, all the ways you serve and give to your community are deep, deep blessings on this offering. Please join me in the dedication of our offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
I would be the first to agree that integration does not mean giving up everything that has an Afro-American taint, so to speak, a background. I think there are certain unique things within any culture and certain cultural patterns that when you get to the process of amalgamation can really lift the whole culture. And it seems to me that integration at its best is the opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. I think the other thing that we've got to see is that these young people are saying that there must be a revolution of values in our country. As Jimmy Baldwin said on one occasion, what advantage is there in being integrated into a burning house? And I feel that there is a need for a revolution of values in America, because some of the values that presently exist are certainly out of line with the values and the idealistic structure that brought our nation into being. Unfortunately, we haven't been true to these ideals, and many of the values of so-called white middle-class society are values that need to be reviewed and re-evaluated, and in a real sense, they need to be changed. So I think the young people in the Negro community who are raising these questions are raising some very profound questions about our total society. In other words, they are saying that there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society where values are concerned. And with this, I would agree with. So in the quest for integration, I think we can offer our whole nation something, because there are three evils in our nation. It's not only racism, but economic exploitation of poverty would be one, and then militarism. And I think in a sense, and in a very real sense, these three are tied inextricably together, and we aren't going to get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
There is a saying that people were created with 2 ears and 1 mouth because we should listen twice as much as we speak. So I want to tell you a story of redemption that came out of deep listening. It's a story about when a group of Unitarian Universalists had to make a difficult decision together and needed to listen to one another. Now, Unitarian Universalism is a living faith. We think that people should be free to believe the truth of their life experiences instead of professing a belief in whatever we are told to believe. This is what we mean when we say ours is a creedless religion. Being a living faith means that any one of us can change what we believe if we experience a deeper truth that contradicts our previous beliefs. But in order to change, you have to be open to new thoughts, new ideas, and new experiences. You have to open your ears, you have to have your ears open to hear the life stories of people with whom you are in community. Sometimes we listen with our ears, but when you are part of a sacred, beloved community, you listen not only with your ears, but also with your heart. Our story takes us to 1948, when most congregations, churches, and houses of worship in the United States were segregated by the color of their members' skin. Some were segregated by law, others by custom, or by a lack of actively trying to welcome and include all people. The First Unitarian Society of Chicago was one of these congregations. Although their church was located in a neighborhood with many African Americans, only white people could join the church according to the written bylaws and according to custom. The day came that many members began to believe they needed to take action against this segregation, against racism, if they truly wanted to live their values. The minister, Reverend Leslie Pennington, was ready for this day. So was James Luther Adams. James Luther Adams, or JLA, as we will fondly call him, was a famous liberal theologian and social ethicist of the time. Dr. Adams taught at the Meadville Lombard Theological School right across the street from the First Unitarian Church of Chicago, Society of Chicago, and he was a member of the congregation's board of directors. Along with some others, Reverend Pennington and James Luther Adams proposed a change in the church's bylaws to desegregate the church and welcome people, whatever the color of their skin. They wanted to include, not exclude. They saw this as a way to put their love into action. When the congregation's board of directors considered the desegregation proposal, nearly all supported it. However, one board member objected. "Your new program is making desegregation into a creed," he said. "You are asking everyone in our church to say they believe desegregating or inviting or even recruiting people of color to attend church is a good way to tackle racism. But what if some members don't believe this?" he said. Desegregation was a very controversial topic in 1948, you see. So respectful debate ensued at the First Unitarian Society of Chicago. Both sides felt in their hearts that their belief was right. Perhaps they were so busy trying to be heard, they forgot to listen. And so they kept on talking. The debate went on in the board of directors meeting until the early hours of the morning. Everyone was exhausted and frustrated. Finally, James Luther Adams remembered that we should be listening twice as much as talking. And so he asked the person who had voiced the strongest objection, "What do you say is the purpose of this church?" Suddenly, everyone was listening. Everyone wanted to hear the answer to this crucial question. Probably the person who objected was listening especially hard to his own heart, as well as to the words he had heard from other board members through the long discussion. The board member who opposed opening the church to people of color finally replied, "Okay, Jim, the purpose of this church is to get a hold of people like me and change them." The First Unitarian Society of Chicago successfully desegregated. There are things that you know, and there are things that I know. When we are together and listening to each other with ears and hearts, well, we all know more. That story comes to us from Jessica York. So I want to ask you, how did it feel in the light of the week we have all witnessed in America to see Dr. King speaking earlier from Ebenezer Baptist Church just 11 months before his assassination? How did it feel to see him speaking about his disappointments, his analysis, and his hopes? While I don't believe King would have been surprised at the events of this week and the week before, I do believe he would have been clear about how we got here and where we need to go. It seemed he held the blueprint for an equal and just America. Now, we don't need to look too far back into our history to find moments of white rage, police brutality of black people, and white insensitivity towards black, indigenous, people of color in our nation. No, we don't have to look far. We only have to look to the white supremacist violent insurrection in our capital just over a week ago. And we hear the echoes of Dr. King's words whispering in our ear, and the words of our Congressman, John Lewis, whose last breath called for a new Voting Rights Act. I heard someone say about this week, what we are living through now is not the chaos of the beginning of an era. This is the chaos at the end of an era. And it is also said we need not worry about the Christianity being taught in our schools as much as we need to worry about the Christianity being taught in America's churches and the white nationalism taught alongside that Christianity. This got me thinking about our own UU theology and how this could help us answer the question of our souls. Where do we go from here? The words of Nina Simone seemed to echo in my ears all week as the FBI arrested more and more white insurrectionists. Oh, sinner man, where you gonna run to? Oh, sinner man, where you gonna run to? One answer lies in a theology of liberation for us all. Liberation theology is easy to like and very hard to live. Theology that liberates those who struggle under racial oppression, economic oppression, sex discrimination, anyone who is held underneath another's thumb. It is a theology declaring that God takes a side and sides with those who are oppressed. And our role as co-creators of our shared experience on earth is to join God in the work of liberation. It is a blessing to have learned theology from the same teacher as Georgia Senator-elect Reverend Raphael Warnock. Reverend Dr. Warnock and I both sat at the feet of the same man, Dr. James Cone, author of many books, including A Black Theology of Liberation and The God of the Oppressed. Dr. James Cone, who came to class each day right up until the end of his life with fire in his soul and anger on his tongue, all spoken with love shining in his eyes for his students in our confusion and our wrestling. Through his Arkansas drawl, his high, tinny voice, Dr. Cone's work fleshed out the stark reality of a theology that in its clear justice saves us all. God takes sides, he said. God sides with the oppressed. The God of liberation means to dismantle white privilege, white oppression, and all of the comfort and structures it affords white people who benefit from it. Dr. Cone would say Jesus of the oppressed was not simply black Jesus, but lesbian and transgender, disabled and living in poverty. And the only hope for reconciliation for all of us is to be most concerned with the fate of the oppressed. This is where Unitarian Universalism must place its salvation, lifting up those who have borne the most oppression in the community. I believe what is called for is a theology of redemption, a process of our own UU version of confession and repentance, which is a turning away from the harmful white legacies of the past and apparently the very real present. As Universalists, we all understand we are born good, and we return to a benevolent source. This does not mean we do not make grievous mistakes during our time here together. So this process of redemption requires moral fortitude to love ourselves into transformation. First, we must see the ways we are all products of a racist system that works insidiously to keep us fighting for meager resources and believing others less deserving. And next, acknowledge that we are all suffering. We all now especially are suffering unimaginable losses and hardships. We are doing our best to survive and maybe even thrive, maybe, these dark days in America. But the light of healing shines for us all. And there can be no healing without accountability, true accountability. And so we must have a faith that can hold, that can keep our confession, and embark with us on a soul journey towards healing. Maybe it looks something like this. For the moments when my white fragility or when patriarchy has made me defensive, I ask for forgiveness. For diminishing another's pain, we ask for forgiveness. For blaming others for our own feelings of guilt and shame, we ask forgiveness. For believing we have nothing more to learn, we ask forgiveness. For asking a single person to represent their entire community, we ask forgiveness. For waiting to respond instead of listening to hear, we ask forgiveness. The guilt of our mistakes, our missteps, and the harm we have caused, that is not the place where the process of redemption ends. We listen to the harm we have caused someone already wounded by society, but who has come to our community for healing. And we lament at our own neglect to be that healing presence at times. We reflect in prayerful meditation on how to begin anew, how to transform. We imagine ourselves making different choices, choosing different words next time. We love ourselves enough to believe that we too can learn. We can become wiser. We can change. The work of transformation is eternal, and we come around again. We make a mistake, we confess, we reflect and unlearn, we try again. This is not the chaos at the beginning of an era. This is the chaos at the end of an era. A revolution of values is at hand. May we be released from treading carefully into this just new world. What MLK called an installment plan of equality. No. May we not temper justice and instead unleash courageous, just love. Like the Unitarian Universalists who came before us in Chicago, could we listen deeply to the words inscribed in the tablets of our heart and be transformed? I think we can. Each of us become someone new, and in doing so, birth a new society into being. We can redesign the architecture of our world, beginning with the blueprints of our own hearts. May it be so. Amen.
Love will guide us, beside us, will lead the way on the road from creed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot speak like angels, if you cannot sing before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. One more step, we will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word, one more song. We will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from creed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
You are here to contribute to a grand design of love. You, child of the universe, your story is still being written. Change is always possible. Deeper understanding, deeper listening is always possible. This is what our faith tells us. So go live with that faith. Listen even more deeply to your heart. Forgive yourself. Try again as we continue the work of building the beloved community we know is possible. So go in peace on this day. Serve love and justice. Go in peace.